Shalom, Israel. It's that time again. The ISUPK, under Commanding General Yahana, presents the Lord's 57th Annual Passover. That's right, the Lord's 57th Annual Passover, April 4th, 2026, in Houston, Texas. All Black, Hispanics, and Native Americans are commanded to observe the Lord's Passover. This will be the biggest Passover to date. You do not want to miss this. Fresh lamb, fresh wine, and bitter herbs as commanded by the Most High. Only $200 per person ages 17 and up. The biggest event of the year. There is only one Passover, and it's under Commanding General Yahana. See you there, Israel. Shalom.
Nobody else there to compare to. Train for war, men of war, and war like apparel. Prefer our leaders, can't get between us. Watch where you stepping.
They got the chains on our mind. You hear black people say that all the time. They got the that's true. So let's break them. Since it's true, why don't we just break them? Why don't we just say, why don't we start waking up and saying, what's best for us? You wonder why we all joined the Israelite School of UPK. Because the Israelite School of UPK is totally the best thing for us. Why? Because, damn right, give it up. Why is it the best thing for us? You a young man. You see in the world and the landscape, and you want to come out the world. And you starting to learn, you online, you trying to take in knowledge, you come across the Hebrew Israelites, and you realize these cats really got it down. They got all the knowledge, the language, the scriptures, everything. When you start learning it, that's the time for you to say, yo, let me get in touch with ISUPK. Let me get in touch with One West. We the original school. Now, go join the original school, learn from the original school, get it added to yourself so that you don't get educated on something that take you off the path in another direction, man. Our young men are precious and they wiping them out posted. Why? Because they care. Why they care? Because you taught them how to care. And if nobody teaches them how to care, if nobody's willing to do that, and you don't have nobody that looks out for you when you're down. So if you one of them young brothers, man, or one of them young sisters, and you trying to do that, man, get in touch with the Israelite School of UPK. I'm Commander General Yana. You get in touch with us, and you're going to be very well taken care of by the grace and mercy of the Lord. And guess what? You're going to come out of this world. Break the chain.
All right. Shalom, 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 Yashala. Right. I'm priest and officer Mabadazar Bun Yahweh Yashala for the Israelite School of Universal Practical Knowledge. Started out of 1 West Harlem, New York, under the commanding General Yohana. Right. Today is the Thursday night scripture breakdown class. Right. We'll be going into the feast of dedication, man. Right. Which is Hanukkah in the Hebrew, man. Right. Which we are celebrating by the space of 8 days, right now as we speak. If you are a Black, Hispanic, or Native Indian, right, from North, South, or Central Americas, or scattered abroad, man, right, you are to be observing, right, the Lord's high holy days, man, right, feast days and holy convocation, man, as well as turning back to the law, statutes, and commandments, man, right. The important thing about this feast day is, for us to remember what happened to us as a nation of people, right? We have become destroyed, so far destroyed for a lack of knowledge that we don't even know who we are as a nation of people, right? But when we go into the records of this feast day, we see how we became destroyed to the point that we are at today. Right, so we're gonna be starting at the book of at the book of John, right, 10 and 22. Right, go ahead and get it. John 10 and 22. All right.
The book of John, chapter 10, verse 22. And it was at Jerusalem, the feast of dedication, and it was winter.
And this is what was going on during the time of the winter, right? You know what I'm saying? In Jerusalem, which is our homeland as Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians, man, right? The land of that the Lord gave unto us, which is Israel, man, right? Jerusalem was like the capital, you know what I'm saying, right? It says, and it was at Jerusalem, the feast of dedication, man, right? And it was in the dead of winter. It wasn't, they wasn't going to celebrate no goddamn Christmas, man, right? They weren't going to celebrate the things that the heathen celebrate. They were going to celebrate the things that the Lord told them to celebrate, man. And that was the feast day and holy convocation of the Lord, man. All right, let's get verse 23, man. We're going to see who else was partaking in this feast day, man. Go ahead.
It's the book of John, chapter 10, verse 23. And Jesus walked in the temple in Solomon's porch.
What? It was at the feast of dedication, right? In the dead of the winter, man. And our King, Yahweh Shai Mashiach, man, who the world ignorantly called Jesus Christ, man, right? He walked in Solomon's tent, man, in his temple, man, right? On the porch, right? Looking to, know what I'm saying, celebrate, man. He wasn't going to celebrate no goddamn birthday, man. He wasn't going to celebrate no Christmas, no New Year's, man. The thing that he was going to celebrate was the feast of dedication, man. Right? The same feast that we are celebrating tonight, man. Right? For a space of 8 days, man. Right? This is a commandment from the Lord, man. You are a Black, Hispanic, or Native Indian, you are to be observing these high holy days and feast days of the Lord, man. Right? These holy convocations. Right? You ought to put down the lies that you have been taught in this place and turn back to the Lord, man. Come and get into the Isupk under the commanding General Yohana, man. Right? So let's drop that. Let's get First Maccabees 1:1, man. That's in the Apocryphal, right? Right? We speak about the Apocryphal every class, letting you know that this is our whole Greek captivity that was stripped out of the Bible, man. Now we're going to talk about why it was stripped out of the Bible and what happened to us in those records, man. Right? Because this is our history book, right? As Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians from North, South, and Central Americas and scattered abroad, man. These are our history book. All right. This is our history book. All right. So we're going to go into our records and seek out, man, what happened to us and why these records were removed, man. Right. So what I say, First Maccabees 1:1, you got it?
Come, sir.
Go ahead and read it.
It's the book of First Maccabees, chapter 1, verse 1. And it happened after that Alexander, son of Philip of Macedonia.
You hear that? It said, and it happened after that Alexander, son of Philip the Macedonian, man. Right? This is talking about Alexander the Greek, or you know what I'm saying? Alexander the Great, man. Right? A lot of people like to say that the Bible is a fairy tale book. The Bible is not real, right? Well, here we are showing you know what I'm saying, that there is history written in this book, man, right? You know what I'm saying this is a true living word, man. But these records are so close to history that they had to take it out so that you would know who you are as a nation of people, man. When you are the nation of people that they made show were destroyed for a lack of knowledge, man, right? So let's continue on, man.
After that, Alexander, son of Philip of Macedonia, who came out of the land
of Chittim, right?
Chittim.
Which is meaning he was an Edomite, man, right? The same race as the oppressor today, who is the goddamn devil the Bible speaks of, man, right? Alexander the Great, whatever you want to call him, man. You know what I'm saying? He was from the land of Chittim, man, right? An Edomite, right? Continue on.
And smitten Darius, king of Persia, king of the Persians, like.
So, you know what I'm saying? He had smitten, right? Meaning he overcame Darius, king of the Persians and Medes, man, right? That's King Darius the Great, man, right? Which he was an Arab, right? You know what I'm saying? That's who the Persians and the Medes are in these records, right? They are the Arabs, right? They are Ishmaelites. All right. So here we have in history in our records, man, right? And you can see it in history today. Well, you know what I'm saying? Alexander the Great, you know, wiped out Darius, king of Persia, right? Continue on.
And smitten Darius, king of the Persians, but these that he reigned in his stead were first over Greeks.
All right, let's get verse 2.
It's the book of First Maccabees, chapter 1, verse 2. And made many wars, and won many strongholds, and slew the kings of the earth.
Go ahead, continue on.
It's the book of First Maccabees, chapter 1, verse 3. And went through to the ends of the earth, and took spoils of many nations, insomuch that the earth was quiet before him.
You know what I'm saying? When this Edomite rose up into power, man, you know, he came making a lot of noise, man. Destroying nations, taking over empires, right? Meaning he grew strong, man. Right? Continue on.
Whereupon he was exalted, and his heart was lifted up.
Go ahead.
It's the book of 1 Maccabees, chapter 1, verse 4. And he gathered a mighty strong host and ruled over country.
You hear that? It say he gathered a mighty strong host, man. A host is talking about an army, man. Right? So he gathered a mighty strong army and ruled over countries, man. Right? And he took on the power and rulership, you know, of the earth in this day. Right? Go ahead.
And nations and kings who became tributaries. Tributaries unto him.
Let's get 5.
The book of 1 Maccabees, chapter 1, verse 5. And after these things, he fell sick and perceived that he should die.
Go ahead.
It's the book of 1 Maccabees, chapter 1, verse 6. Wherefore he called his servants, such as were armed and had been brought up with him from his youth, and parted his kingdom among them while he was yet alive.
Right. So, you know, he grew, you know, a small army, man. Right. But even though it was small, it was powerful. And now it's at the time where he's passing down his kingdom to the men under him, right? Because he's about to, you know, be taken out the game, right? So he's passing down his torch to you know what I'm saying, those that are coming to reign after his, you know what I'm saying, his stead, right? His rulership, man, right? Let's drop down to verse 10. Go ahead.
It's the book of 1 Maccabees, chapter 1, verse 10. And there came out of them a wicked group,
Antiochus.
And there came out of them a wicked group, Antiochus, surnamed
Epiphanes,
son of Antiochus the king, who had been a hostage at Rome.
Right? So, no, I'm saying this is a wicked root, man, being raised up, man, right? You know, a devil of all devils in this day, man, right? Worse than, you know, Alexander the Great, man, right? You know, this like Donald. He's the Donald Trump back then, man, right? And Alexander the Great is like your George Bush, man, right? You know, let's continue on.
And he reigned in the 137th year of the kingdom of the Greeks.
Right? Like I said, he reigned in the 137th year of the kingdom of the Greeks, man. Right? I mean, this is a wicked ruler, you know what I'm saying? A wicked Edomite ruler that is ruling over blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians, man. Right? Just like they have a wicked Edomite ruler ruling over blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians today, man. Let's get verse 11.
So, book of 1 Maccabees, chapter 1, verse 11. In those days went there out of Israel wicked men.
I'm saying that day, right? It's nothing new under the sun. What was then is now. The same things that went on back then is the same things that's going on today, man. It says, in those days went there out of Israel wicked men, right? You know what I'm saying? The coons, man, the magna cum laudes, right? those that want to have a seat at the oppressor's table, to have a piece of his kingdom. And in doing so, they seek to offer up their brothers and sisters as a deep dish platter, right, upon the oppressor's table, man. Right? Right. These are your Christian pastors, man. Right? Your leaders that want to join their politics, right? And have a piece of this kingdom, right? Right? They choose to go and commit treason to have a piece of this oppressor's kingdom, right? They are wicked men that comes up out of Israel, man. Right? These are talking about blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians who go and sell out their people, man. Right? For their own gain. Continue on.
Those days went out of Israel wicked men who persuaded many, saying, let us go make a covenant with the heathen.
Right? That's what your Christian pastors say. See, he tells you have to go out and vote, man. Right? When the Lord said for you not to set a man above you who is not your brother, he said you ought to choose a man from among you, right? That the Lord choose, man, from among your brethren, right? Like I said, who persuade many, saying, let us go and make a covenant with the heathen, man. Right? Let us go and make a deal with them. But we are suffering, you know. I'm saying our pockets are hurting, man. You know, we can go and make a deal with him, and maybe we can make some money for ourselves at the expense of our nation. Right? At the expense of our brothers and sisters, man. Right? At the expense of losing our power. Right? Our culture, our nationality. So they didn't care about those things. They cared about themselves, man. That's why in the scripture said, and when you come to serve the Lord, you have to be selfless, man. Continue on.
Let us go make a covenant with the heathen that are round about us. For since we departed from them, we've had much sorrow.
They like, look, man, since we have departed from the heathens, you know, we've been poor, right? You know, we ain't been eating like we did when we was up under them. Just like, you know, when our people came out of Egypt, man, right? And the Lord was dropping the manna for our people every day, right? The Lord was giving us our daily bread, but yet we wasn't content with what we had, man. We wasn't content with what the Lord was giving us every day, right? We wanted to go back into oppression, right? We wanted to go back into slavery where it was comfortable, right? You know, where you can go and flip a switch and have the light come on for you, right? You know, where you can eat whatever they had for you to eat, man. Right? You felt like in the wilderness, you didn't have what you had when you was in slavery, so you were ready to go back and be up under the hand of those that hate you, right? And that's the same thing that's going on right here, man. And it's the same thing that's going on today, man. Right? They say since we departed from them, we have had much sorrow, man. Right? Let's get verse 12.
It's the book of First Maccabees, chapter 1, verse 12. So this device pleased them well,
Go ahead.
It's the book of First Maccabees, chapter 1, verse 13. Being certain of the people were so forward herein that they went to the king, who gave them license to do after orders of the heathen.
These are wicked Negroes, man. Right? The coons. Right? They went. Right? It says, then certain of the people were so forward herein that they went to the king, who gave them license to do after the ordinance of the heathen, man. Right? Meaning they went to get the okay, right? From the king to do what he say to do, right? You know, they didn't require of what the Lord. They didn't go seek what the Lord required of them, right? They went to go and seek what the king required of them to do after their ordinance, right? You know, to eat the things that they eat, right? Which is the pork, shrimp, and the crab, the lobsters, and celebrate the things that they celebrate, which is their holidays, man. Right? And they went to go and learn what the oppressor wanted, so they can come back and teach these things unto blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians, who are the children of Israel, man. Right? Hoping that they can have a seat at the oppressor's table, man. Right? Don't that sound familiar to you? Right? That's the same thing that's going on today, man. Let's get verse 14. All right, this is the book of First Maccabees, chapter 1, verse 14, and it reads, whereupon they built a place of exercise at Jerusalem. Right? Meaning they came into our land and began to build places of exercise for them, right? Meaning they built up their gymnasium, their coliseums, right? You know, and they had us fighting in those coliseums, man. Right? You know, fighting lions, tigers, and bears, man. You know, they heard of us being a warrior race, man. That they made sport of us, right? Just like they make sport of us today in their arenas, in their coliseum, man. As we play basketball and football and soccer, right? And all these different things in their place of exercise, man. Right? They sit back and make sport of us as we entertain them, man. Right? And they do it, like it says, according to the customs of the heathen, man. Right? Not according to the customs of our power, which is the Most High God of Israel. Right? But they do it according to the custom of the heathen, man. Let's get verse 15. Right? It's the book of First Maccabees, chapter 1, verse 15, and it reads, and made themselves uncircumcised. Right? Now understand this, if you are already circumcised of the flesh, how can you make yourself be uncircumcised if you're already circumcised, right? Because you have to understand the spirit behind the law, right? See, they understood the letter of the law, but they didn't understand the spirit behind the law, right? So the way that they made themselves uncircumcised is by following the ways of the heathen, right? Putting down their custom, putting down their laws, statutes, and commandments to go and follow after the ways of the heathen, man. They made themselves uncircumcised, right? Let's continue on. It says, and forsook the holy covenant, man, right? They have forsaken the holy covenant that the Lord made with blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians, right? With the house of Israel, right? That's who the Lord made a covenant with, man. No other nation on the face of the earth, man. But we have made ourselves uncircumcised because we have forsaken the law. Don't that sound familiar to you in that Christian church? Where they teach you that the laws of God is done away with. But all you have to do is accept this oppressor Jesus, and you are going to make it into the kingdom, right? Let's say, and they forsook the holy covenant and joined themselves to the heathen, right? And that's what we do today, man. Just as they did back then, man, right? You had wicked men amongst Israel teaching the nation of Israel how to join themselves unto the heathens, man. Right? And that's how we become destroyed for a lack of knowledge today, man. To the point that we don't know who we are as a nation of people. Right? The only thing we know is the last 50 years we were slaves. That's it. But you don't know who you was 500 years ago, 1,000 years ago. What were you doing? Right? You don't understand that you are the people of this Bible. Right? Let's continue on. And it says, and were sold to do mischief. Right? We were joined unto the hand of our enemy and were sold to do mischief, man. Let's get verse 16. All right, this is the book of First Maccabees, chapter 1, verse 16, and it reads, Now when the kingdom was established before Antiochus, he thought to reign over Egypt, that he might have dominion over 2 realms, right? All right, so I'm gonna drop down to verse 20, right? Drop down to verse 20. Right, this is the book of First Maccabees, chapter 1, verse 20, right? And it reads, and after that Antiochus was smitten, that's like it had smitten Egypt, he returned again in the 143rd year and went up against Israel and Jerusalem with a great multitude. Right, let's get verse 21. And entered proudly into the sanctuary and took away the golden altar and the candlestick of light and the vessel thereof, man. Right? Meaning they came into our temple, man, our holy place, man. Right? And began to tear down our altar, man. Right? They began to take down, the gold and the silver that was in our temple, man. Right? They tore down the candlestick of light, which is the menorah, man. Right? The menorah in the Hebrew, man. Right? Which is what this class is about, today. Right? The feast of Hanukkah, man. The feast of dedication, man. Right? They entered proudly into the sanctuary, into our sanctuary, man, and took away the golden altar, man, and the candlestick of light and the vessel thereof, man. Verse 22, and the table of the showbread, right? And they took the table, the altar, the menorah, the gold, the silver, everything, man, and pour vessels, right? And pouring vessels and the vials and the censers of gold and the veil and the crown and the golden ornaments that were before the temple, all which he pulled off, man. I mean, they stripped blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians of all their royalty, man. Right? All their power, all their authority, man. All of their culture, their language, their God, Right? They stripped blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians of everything, man, and left us destroyed for a lack of knowledge, man. All right, let's get verse 23. He took also the silver and the gold and the precious vessel. Also, he took the hidden treasure which he found, man. Right? As a black, Hispanic, and Native Indian, you got to understand this have to mean something to you, man. When they say they took our gold, man, right? This is our spirit they taking from us, man. Right? You know what I'm saying? This is a part of our spirit to rock, you know, how we like to rock our chains, you know what I'm saying? Our gold, our jewelry, right? The grills. Well, they came and stripped their spirit away from us, man. They came and took our gold, man, took our silver. You know what I'm saying? Came and threw down our altar, man, and destroyed our temple. Right? Let's see. Let's get verse 24. Right? It's the book of First Maccabees, chapter 1, verse 24. And when he had taken all away.
This is the book of First Maccabees, chapter 1, verse 24. When he had taken all away, he went into his own land, having made a great massacre and spoken very proud.
You know what I'm saying? He went into his own land and made a great massacre, man.
Shit.
Yeah. And this is what you got to know. This oppressor is the greatest unaliver on the face of the earth, man. Right? He want to call the Hispanic people criminals, you know what I'm saying, and unalivers, right? He want to call the black people criminals and unalivers, but the records in our history say, you know, he is the great massacre of the earth, man. Right? And he speaks proudly of it, man. Right? He ain't got no shame in this game, man. Right? This oppressor is the goddamn devil the Bible speaks of, man. Let's get verse 25.
Book of First Maccabees, chapter 1, verse 25. Therefore, there was a great mourning in Israel, in every place where they were.
You know what I'm saying? It's a great morning in Israel because, you know, they stripped from us our dearest things, man. They took our spirit away from us, man. They came into our temple, which was holy unto us, man, which was holy unto the Lord, man. And they came and destroyed our temple, our holy place, man. Right? They came and took our spirit, our culture, our nationality, our God, man, our laws, statutes, and commandments, man. They stripped all these things from us, man. Therefore, we were in great sadness, man. Right? Let's get verse 26.
All right, this is the book of First Maccabees, chapter 1, verse 26. So that the princes, and elders mourned, for virgins and young men were made people.
You hear that? It says, so that the princes and elders mourn, right? I mean, our people were in sadness, man, right? And it says the virgins and young men, right? You see how it says virgins and then it says young men. The virgins are the sisters, man, right? The women of marital age.
Right.
I mean, they are of age where they are ready to be married, man, right? It ain't got nothing to do with sex, right? A virgin is a woman of marital age. She's at the age to where she can be married. Now, a young man cannot be a virgin, right? You know what I'm saying? A man cannot be a virgin, man. So he's a young warrior, man. That's why it says virgins and young men, man.
Right.
Young warriors, man. Women and young warriors, right? They were feeble. Continue on.
And the beauty of women was changed.
And the beauty of our women was changed. Because it was a point in time where our women wouldn't venture to put their sole of their feet on the ground. Right? They would want to be carried around, man. Right? Wherever they went, man. And we would make sure that their feet never touched the ground.
Right.
But now we're at a point to where we have taken on the custom of the heathens. You know what I'm saying? And now our women got to get their feet dirty. Right? They say virgins and young men have been made feeble, man. Have been made weak, man. Because we have taken on the custom of the heathens. When the scripture says, take not the custom of the heathens. Choose none of their ways, man. And by doing so, our men and women have become weak, man. Right? And the beauty of our women have become changed, man. Right? Let's get verse 27.
This is the book of First Maccabees, chapter 1, verse 27. Every bridegroom took up lamentation.
And it was sadness, man. Right? It was sadness for the nation of Israel. Right? When it was a time for us to be joined with our king, right? I mean, we're joined unto the Lord, right? You know, it was sadness in that day, man. Go ahead.
And she that sat in the marriage chamber was in heaviness.
Right? Meaning the nation of Israel, right? We were in great heaviness, man. Because our people have become destroyed for a lack of knowledge. Right? We have lost our way up under the hand of those that hate us, man. Let's get verse 28.
The book of First Maccabees, chapter 1, verse 28. And the land also was moved for the land also was moved for the inhabitants thereof, and all the house of Jacob was covered with confusion.
I'm saying all of the house of Jacob, all blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians were covered with confusion because we started to take on their customs. We started to eat the things that the heathen eat. We started to celebrate the things that the heathen celebrate, right? And we have forsaken our covenant that the Lord made with us. We have forsaken our laws, statutes, and commandments and ways of life to be joined unto the hand of our enemies, man. Therefore, now, you know, we are destroyed for a lack of knowledge. We are covered with confusion as blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indian, man. We don't even know who we are as a nation of people, man. We don't know our history, right? But it's written right here in these records, man, because this is the history book of blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians, man. Let's get verse, let's drop that. Let's get, let's go to verse 30, all right? First Maccabees chapter 1, verse 30. Go ahead.
This is the book of First Maccabees, chapter 1, verse 30. And spake peaceable words unto them, but all was deceit.
Do that sound familiar to you? Right? You know what I'm saying? He put forth his hand to be at peace with thee, but war was in his heart, man. You got to understand, when they say peace, when they scream peace, just know sudden destruction is coming, man. Because it's no truth in this oppressor, man. He is the goddamn devil the Bible speaks of, man. Right? He made how many treaties? About over 500 treaties with the North American Indians, man. He speak peaceably, right? I'm saying he speak peaceably, peaceable words unto them, but all was deceit, man. War was in his heart, man. Right? We don't call the oppressor the devil because we think he's underground and he's a red man with a pig fork and a tail. He is the greatest deceiver on the face of the earth, man. Right? Continue on. For when what?
For when they had given him credence, he fell suddenly upon the city.
When they let their guards down and begin to trust in this oppressor, he fell suddenly on the city, man. And then he rained down hell upon them as soon as they let their guards down. Right? This is why we say that the oppressor is the goddamn devil the Bible speaks of, man. Go ahead.
And smote it very sore, and destroyed much people of Israel.
He destroyed much people of who were blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians. Just as he do today, man. Right? You know, he put up his words to be at peace with thee, man. You know what I'm saying? As soon as you let your guards down, he's seeking how he can devour you, how he can destroy you as a black, Hispanic, or Native Indian. You got something, you got to make it short because we got a long way to go.
Oh, so this is how you break them off, because this is exactly who this man is today. You know, this is your war on drugs right here.
Right.
You know, this is your political system. They come into your neighborhood and tell you, "Oh, I'm gonna do all these wonderful things for y'all." You know, and then when they get into office, they forget about you. You know, and not only forget about you, set policies against you.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? That's all I gotta say.
Go ahead. Let's get verse 31.
It's the book of First Maccabees, chapter 1, verse 31. When he had taken the spoils of the city, he set it on fire and pulled down the houses and walls thereof every side.
And then he came and seeked to devour our kingdom, man. Right? Just like he seeked it to devour, you know, the North American Indian, man. Right? Just like he seeked to devour blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians, man. Right? Let's get verse 32.
It's the book of First Maccabees, chapter 1, verse 32. But the women and children took they captive and possessed the cattle.
You know, he took the women, right? You know, he took the women and the children and put them in captivity. And not only the women and children, he took the cattle, man. Our livestock, man. Right? And he, you know what I'm saying? This is the oppressor who is the goddamn devil the Bible speaks of, man. You know, he would love to be able to take the minds of our women and children. Right? That's what he do today with his government assistance, man. Right? He take captive the mind of our women and our children, our goods, man. And that's how he spoiled the strong man goods, man. Right? By doing away with the strong man, getting him out of the way. And then he could take the minds of our women and our children. Right? Let's get verse 33.
It's the book of First Maccabees, chapter 1, verse 33. Then builded the city of David with a great and strong wall, and with mighty towers, and made it a stronghold for them.
Go ahead.
It's the book of First Maccabees, chapter 1, verse 34. And they put therein a sinful nation, wicked men, and fortified themselves therein.
And they put a sinful nation, you know, in our land, in our temple, man. Right? Wicked men have taken over, you know, our land, man, our temple, and begin to destroy the minds of our people, right? Who are the nation of Israel. All right, let's drop down to verse 37. All right.
It's the book of First Maccabees, chapter 1, verse 37. Thus they shed innocent blood on every side of every sanctuary and defiled it.
You know what I'm saying? That sounds like what's going on today, man. It's nothing new under the sun, man. Thus they shed innocent blood on every side of the sanctuary and defiled it, man. Right? When they have destroyed innocent blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians, man, who are the children of Israel, right? They did that in the temple, man, in our kingdom, man, right? In our land, right? The battle that we are fighting today is not something that's just going on because it's happening today. This is a battle that was going on way back here in these records, man. And we can find it going on in our history, man, which is this Bible, man. Right, let's get 38. Right, go ahead.
It's the book of First Maccabees, chapter 1, verse 38. Insomuch that the inhabitants of Jerusalem fled because of them, whereupon the city was made a habitation of strangers.
You know what I'm saying? Our city was made the habitation of strangers, man. Right? Heathens. The goddamn oppressor, who is the goddamn devil the Bible speaks of, man. Our land became their habitation. Our temple, right, became their habitation. Go ahead.
It became strange to those that were born in her.
It became strange to the people that were born in that land. Right? Go ahead.
Her own children left her.
All right, let's get verse 39. Go ahead.
It's the book of First Maccabees, chapter 1, verse 39. Her sanctuary was laid waste like a wilderness. Her feasts were turned into mourning. Her Sabbaths into reproach. Her honor into contempt.
Right? Meaning our sanctuary had become destroyed, man. Right? It was laid waste like the wilderness, man. Right? Our feast day, the things that we celebrate became a sadness, right? We were supposed to be celebrating, you know, the Passover or the Sabbath day, you know, and doing what thus said the Lord. These things became sadness for us as a nation of people, right? It became a bad name upon us because we had wicked men, wicked rulers ruling up over us, oppressing us. And along with that, we had wicked magna cum laude Negroes, man, right? Coons that was willing to serve us up unto the oppressor for their own gain, just as we have today, man. Right? Let's get verse 40.
It's the book of First Maccabees, chapter 1, verse 40. As had been her glory, so was her dishonor, increased and excellent.
And her excellency, right?
And her excellency was turned into mourning.
Go ahead.
It's the book of First Maccabees, chapter 1, verse 41. Moreover, King Antinochus wrote to his whole kingdom.
All right, so this is this devil right here, right? The oppressor, right? He's finna write out a decree, right? He's finna establish the law of you know what I'm saying, the oppressor, who is the goddamn devil the Bible speaks of, man. He's finna write a decree to the whole kingdom that what?
Oh, slide. The whole kingdom that all should be one people.
That all should be one people, man. Don't that sound familiar? That we are to be one nation under God. We should all come together and be one people, right? We all are created equal, right? I'm saying these are the lies that have deceived the minds of Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians, man. Right? Well, this oppressor made it a law that everybody is to worship and celebrate and do the same thing, man. Right? Let's continue on. Verse 42. Go ahead.
Book of First Maccabees, chapter 1, verse 42. And everyone should leave his laws.
Say everyone should leave his laws. Everybody should leave their customs, their ways of life, and follow after the manner of the heathen. We should do what thus said the oppressor, right? Who is the goddamn devil the Bible speaks of. That's what he's saying, man. We should leave the laws of our God. We should leave our traditions, right? You know, we should put down our holy convocations and feast days and do after the manner of the heathen. Continue on. So all the heathen, right?
So all the heathen agree according to the commandment of the king.
Right? So all the heathens agreed according to the commandment of the king that everybody should do what thus said the heathen. We should celebrate, eat, and do what the heathens do. We should all be one people, man. Right? This is our history on how we became to be the people we are today as Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians, man. All right, let's get 43.
It's the book of First Maccabees, chapter 1, verse 43. Yea, many also of the Israelites consented to his religion.
You hear that? These are the coons. These are your house Negroes, man. Right? These are your you know, the magna cum laude is of the earth back then, man. Right? You know, this is your Christian pastors, your religious leaders, your politicians, your leaders that seek to have a seat at the table with the oppressor, who is the goddamn devil the Bible speaks of, man. So, yea, many also of the Israelites consented to his religion, man. Right? That chose to pass this down to other Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians so that they can have a seat in his kingdom. Go ahead, and what did they do? And sacrifice what?
Sacrifice unto idols.
They sacrificed unto idols, man. Which is that goddamn Christian cross, right? You know, that goddamn rock in Mecca, man. Right? Back then, you know, they had the golden calf and, you know, all the things that idols that they worship and celebrated, man. You know, let's continue on.
And sacrifice unto idols and profane the Sabbath.
So they profaned the Sabbath, man. Right? They straight up disrespected the Sabbath day of the Lord, man. Because now on the Sabbath day, you know, they're worshiping idols. They are doing what the heathen said to do. No longer are they are, you know, within the spirit of the Lord when it comes to the Sabbath day, man. And doing what thus said the Lord, man. Let's get 44.
It's the book of First Maccabees, chapter 1, verse 44. For the king has sent letters by messengers unto Jerusalem and the cities of Judah.
Right, so he's sending down the decree, right? The law that he's passing that everybody should be one people and worship and celebrate the same thing. And every nation is to turn away from their law and follow the law of the oppressor. Go ahead.
That they should follow the strange laws of the land.
That they should follow. What you hear that? Don't that sound familiar? That you are to follow the law of the land, right? Well, here in the Israelite School of Universal Practical Knowledge, we will obey God rather than man. Right? We're gonna do what thus said the Lord, man, not what thus said the oppressor, man. Right? They said that they should follow the strange laws of the land, man, and give up the laws that the Lord gave them. Give up their customs, their ways of life, to follow after the manner of the heathen, man. Let's get 45.
It's the book of First Maccabees, chapter 1, verse 45. And forbid burnt offerings and sacrifice and drink offerings in the temple, and that they should profane the Sabbaths and festivals days.
You know what I'm saying? They gonna do what thus said the heathen, man. They gonna celebrate the things that the heathen celebrate. They gonna eat the things that the heathen eat, and they are going to turn away from the ways that the Lord gave them, right? Their Sabbath days, right? Their feast days and holy convocations. No longer are they going to keep those things, but they're going to follow after the ways of the heathen. This is a law that this king, that this wicked ruler is passing, you know what I'm saying, for everybody up under him to follow, man, right? This is why the Lord said that we should not have another nation of people ruling over us, man. That we should have one from amongst our brethren, one that the Lord choose, man. Right? Who is a fellow Black, Hispanic, or Native Indian, man. Let's get verse 46.
It's the book of First Maccabees, chapter 1, verse 46. And pollute the sanctuary and holy people.
Right? So they polluted our sanctuary and our people, man. Our holy people, our separate and set apart people, man. Right? You know what I'm saying? Our temple, our land, our people all have become polluted, man. Because we have been joined into the hand of our enemy, man. Let's get 47.
It's the book of First Maccabees, chapter 1, verse 47. Set up altars and groves and chapels of idols.
Right? They set up altars and groves and chapels of idols, man. Other gods, man. The Most High God of Israel said for you not to put no other God before him, man. But he is a jealous power, man. Right? Continue on.
sacrifice swine's flesh and unclean beasts.
Right? You wonder why you start eating pork, shrimp, crab, and lobster. It started right here in our history, man. Right? This is how you started eating unclean meats, man. Right? Unclean beasts, because it's not meat, man. Right? Swine's flesh is not meat, man. Right? Let's get 48.
It's the book of First Maccabees, chapter 1, verse 48. That they should also leave their children uncircumcised and make their souls abominable with all manner of uncleanness and profanation. Profanation.
Right? That we are to, know what I'm saying, have our children be destroyed, man. Right? We ain't to pass down to our sons' the truth according to the Bible, the law, statutes, and commandments, our holy convocations and feast days, our culture, right? Our customs. You know, we are not to pass these things down to our children. The things that we should pass down to our children is the holidays, right? Birthdays. You know what I'm saying? Eat what you want to eat. Do what you want to do, right? Follow after the manner of the heathen. All right? Let's get 49.
Book of First Maccabees, chapter 1, verse 49. To the end that might forget the law.
You hear that? It said to the end they might forget the law. And what have we done today? We have forgotten the law of thy God, man. We have forgotten our strength. We have forgotten our power, man. Right? We have forsaken our holy covenant, man. Right? We have forgotten about the Most High God of Israel and who we are as a nation of people, man. Because we chose to do what thus said the heathen and not what thus said the Lord. Go ahead.
And change all the ordinance.
Now they have changed all the ordinance, man. Now today we are worshiping all kinds of religions under the sun. We are Christian, Baptist, Catholic, Methodist, Pentecostal, Egyptologists, Muslims. We are everything under the sun but the children of the Most High God of Israel. We follow everything under the sun but what the Lord said for us to follow, because they have changed all the ordinance that we used to keep, the ways that we used to go and follow, and our God and power that we used to serve, man. Right? All those things have been stripped from us, man. Let's get verse 50.
Book of First Maccabees, chapter 1, verse 50. And whosoever will not do according to the commandments of the king, he said he should die.
You hear that? And if you didn't do what after the manner of the king, you were put to death. You were unalived. You were destroyed. That's how we became destroyed, for a lack of knowledge, man. Because if you were to claim yourself to be a Jew, you were going to be put to death. That's in our records, man. You wonder why we worship everything under the sun but the Most High God of Israel. Why we follow every religion under the sun and turn our back against the Most High God of Israel, and we forsake his law. We forsake his covenant. Because it was, you know what I'm saying? It was murdered out of us, man. Right? We were beat. It was beat out of us. Let's drop down to 50. See. Drop down to 56. Go ahead.
It's the book of First Maccabees, chapter 1, verse 56. And when they had rent in pieces, like, and when they had rent in pieces the books of the law which they found, they burned them with fire.
Right? They took and tried to destroy, our law, man. Right? The laws of God, they went to ripping them up in pieces, right? Tearing them up and burning the books, man. Burning the records, man. Because they know as long as we stay far away from those records, we will never rise up to be a nation of people that will be powerful enough to overcome them. As long as they can keep us destroyed for a lack of knowledge, they can always oppress us and keep us destroyed for a lack of knowledge, man. That's why you are taught that the laws of God is done away with, man. Right? Let's get verse 57.
The book of First Maccabees, chapter 1, verse 56. And whosoever was found with any the book of the testament, or if any committed to the law, the king commanded was that they should be put him that they should put him to death.
So if you were found with the Old Testament, right, with the book of the law, right, or if any committed the law, right? If you were found, that's why they tell you the Old Testament is done away with, right? The Old Testament is done away. Now we follow the New Testament. And they give you a whole another spirit that is not of the Lord, man. Because when Christ walked the earth, he taught the things of the prophets of old, man. He taught the law, statutes, and commandments. He taught the things of the men that were before him, man. Right? But now you were unalive, man, back then. And this time, say, whosoever was found with any book of the testament, or if any committed, or if anyone kept the law, right? It say what after that? The king's commandment was
the king's commandment was that they should be put that they should put him to death.
And if you were found keeping the law, if you had the book of the law, and you were doing what thus said the Lord, you were put to death. You were sentenced to death. Right? These are not my words, man. Right? These are the words that are in our records, man, in our history book, man. These things were written for us, to have hope as a nation of people, man. Right? To seek out and have understanding, man. All right, let's get verse 58.
Book of First Maccabees, chapter 1, verse 58. Thus did they by their authority unto the Israelites every month to as many as were found in the cities.
And they ran down on blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians every month to make sure, you ain't keeping those laws, statutes, and commandments. Right? You don't have the book of the law in your house, and you're not passing these things down to your children. Right? They came and ran down on blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians, man. It's like they go in the sales blocks and toss the sales, looking for contraband. Well, back then, if you had the book of the law and you were serving the Lord, you know what I'm saying, that was contraband. So they come and toss up your quarters, right? Seeking if they can find you serving your power, man. And if they found you with the law or keeping the law, you were unalive, man. That's how we have become destroyed as a nation of people, man. Right? Let's get 59. Salakia, let's drop down to 60. Right? First Maccabees chapter 1, verse 60. Go ahead.
It's the book of First Maccabees, chapter 1, verse 6. At which time, according to the commandment, they put to death certain women that had caused their children to be circumcised.
You know what I'm saying they went and put to death certain women that caused their children to follow the law, to follow after the spirit of the law, to take and keep their customs, right? That the Lord gave to them, man. And they went and found them and unalived them, man, and their children, man. You got to understand that this oppressor is the goddamn devil the Bible speaks of, man. Right? Let's get verse 61.
It's the book of First Maccabees, chapter 1, verse 61. And they hanged the infants about their necks.
They took the infants and hung them about their necks because they were being taught how to serve the Most High God of Israel and keep their customs. Right? They were taught how to be obedient unto the Lord, man. And for that, they were hung, by their necks, man. Go ahead. And rifled what?
Rifled their houses.
I'm saying this was a drive-by happening back then at the hand of the oppressor, who is the goddamn devil the Bible speaks of, man. Just like they had the Klansmen come and torch your house, man. Right? It's nothing new under the sun, man. The same thing that's going on today is what was going on back then, man. What was then is now, man. Right? And they rifled their houses and what?
And slew them that had circumcised them.
And they unalived those that had circumcised them, that taught them the truth, that taught them how to serve the Most High God of Israel, that taught them the law, statutes, and commandments, and holy convocations and feast days of the Lord, man. They unalived them. And you wonder why we are Christians today. You wonder why we worship some goddamn dumb stone and dumb wood today. That's what the Bible called it. The dumb wood and the dumb stone. It is a curse upon us for our disobedience unto the Lord, man. The Lord is not in your religion, man. You're not learning about this holy convocation, this feast day that we are celebrating tonight for the space of 8 days. You ain't learning this nowhere else in the earth, man. Because the Lord is not in there. Right? Let's get verse 62.
It's the book of First Maccabees, chapter 1, verse 62. Howbeit, many in Israel were fully resolved and confirmed in themselves not to eat any unclean thing.
Right? So many Israelites understood and knew that we were fully resolved and confirmed in themselves not to eat any unclean thing. We didn't eat no pork. We didn't eat no shrimp, crab, and lobster. Right? We ate the things that the Lord said was clean for us to eat as a nation of people, man. Right? But because of the destruction that we came up under the hand of this devil, that's how we started to eat all of these things and separate ourselves from the Lord, man. Let's get verse 63.
It's the book of First Maccabees, chapter 1, verse 63. Wherefore, or rather to die, that they might not be defiled with meats.
But you had men and you had women and children, right? That rather die that they might be defiled with meats, man. Rather than eat pork, shrimp, crab, and lobster and forsake the law and covenant of the Lord, they chose death. And that's the spirit that we are bringing back into the earth today, man. You know what I'm saying? We are bringing back the spirit of Mattathias and his sons and the men that was raised up after up under him, man. Right? That's the spirit that you are seeing right here in the Israelite School of Universal Practical Knowledge, man. You know what I'm saying? Men and women and children that would rather die than to be defiled with unclean meats, man, and go against our power, man. Go ahead.
And that they might not profane the holy covenant.
Yeah, we don't profane the holy covenant, the separate covenant that the Lord made with us as blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians. Go ahead.
So men may die.
So we would rather choose death and die a honorable death to serve our power, to keep our laws, statutes, and commandments, to do what thus said the Lord, man. Right? Let's get First Maccabees chapter 2, verse 7, right? And just hold it for a second, okay? All right. Just get it and hold it for a second. I gotta run to the restroom. It's like it, y'all. Bear with me for a second.
This is the book of First Maccabees, chapter 2, verse 7. He said, "Woe is me! Therefore was I born to see the misery of my people."
Right. This Mattathias is looking at the destruction that have fell upon blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians. He looking at how we are destroyed for a lack of knowledge, how we have defiled ourselves up under the hand of our enemies, up under the hand of those that hate us perpetually, man. Right? You know what I'm saying? He's feeling, the sorrow, the misery, right? And watching our people being destroyed to the point that we are at in this time, right? Continue on.
Well, he said, "Woe is me, man."
You're gonna have to keep up because we can't keep going back. So, and the holy city, right?
The holy city, and to dwell there when it was delivered into the hand of the enemy, and the sanctuary into the hand of strangers.
All right, so it says, and of the holy city, and to dwell there, when it was delivered into the hand of the enemy, man, and a sanctuary into the hand of strangers, man. Meaning our temple, our holy place, our sanctuary, it was delivered up into the hand of those that hate us, unto our enemies, man, that seek to devour us. And they do the same thing to us today, man. They seek to devour us today, man. and our sanctuary is delivered up unto them, man. Right? Let's get verse 8.
First Maccabees chapter 2, verse 8. Her temple is become as a man without glory.
Go ahead.
Book of First Maccabees chapter 2, verse 9. Her glorious vessels are carried away into captivity.
Right? That's us, man. We are the glory of the Lord as blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indian. Right? Her glorious vessels are carried away into captivity. As blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indian, we have been in captivity after captivity after captivity, man. Right? We have been in captivity under the Assyrians, captivity under the Babylonian, captivity up under the Egyptians, captivity up under the Roman Empire. And now what we are reading about right now is our captivity under the Greeks, man. Right? The part of the Bible that was stripped out of the Bible, right? All you know is Greek came into power, and then Roman Empire overthrew them, and we have been destroyed for a lack of knowledge up under the Roman Empire ever since, right? Up under their Catholicism and theological system and all the religions that seeks to destroy and push lies into our minds, man. Right? We have been carried into captivity, man. Her what? It say her infants or what?
Her infants are slain into the streets.
Go.
Young men with the sword of the enemy.
Right? We are the ones that are being slain in the streets, man. Nope. Our young men are being destroyed at the with the sword at the hand of our enemies, man. Right? The Lord don't call them a friend, a brother, a neighbor. The Lord count them as our enemies, man. Right? Let's get verse 10. Go ahead.
First Maccabees chapter 2, verse 10. What nation had not had a part in her kingdom and gotten of her spoil?
What nation did not have us in under captivity? I just told you about all the different captivities of the major empires that were ruling, right? You know what I'm saying? All the way up until today, you know, we are up under the hand of our enemy, the oppressor, who is the goddamn devil the Bible speaks of, man. Right? We are still in captivity until this day, man. Right? Until our King Yahushua Mashiach comes to free us from the hell that we are going through as a nation of people, man. We have to show the Lord that we are a nation of people that's worthy of that salvation, man. Right? Let's verse 11.
Book of First Maccabees chapter 2, verse 11. All her ornaments are taken away. Of a free woman, she has become a bond slave.
Right? We have become, you know, the scripture says, is Israel a homeborn slave, man? Right? We have been in slavery, in captivity under every major empire under the sun, man. So much that we have become comfortable in these captivities, man. Right? We just learn how to dwell in it comfortably. All right? The Lord did put us in captivity for us to be comfortable. Right? He put us in it so that we'll wake the hell up, man, and turn back to him. That way he can free us from the hell, man. All right, let's get verse 12.
It's the book of First Maccabees, chapter 2, verse 12. And behold, our sanctuary, even our beauty and our glory is laid waste.
All right, our sanctuary, our beauty, our glory is all laid waste, man. And what?
And the Gentiles have profaned it.
You know what I'm saying? They have profaned it, man. Right? They made it as if it is nothing, man. Right? They have destroyed it, man. And they have destroyed our sanctuary. You know what I'm saying? Destroyed our beauty as a nation of people. You know, and have taken away our glory, man. Right? They have made us like unto them. Right? This is how we become Gentiles. You know what I'm saying? The Hellenistic people. You know, the Israelites that made Greek their tongue. Just like we are today, Israelites that have made English and Spanish our tongue. Right? It's nothing new under the sun, man. Let's get verse 13. It's like it. Let's drop down to 16. First Maccabees chapter 2, verse 16. All right, let's go ahead and read it.
Book of First Maccabees chapter 2, verse 16. When many of Israel came unto them, Matthias also and his sons came together.
Right? So it said, when many of Israel came unto them, Matthias and his sons, you know, they came together. Right? Verse 17.
The book of First Maccabees chapter 2, verse 17. Then answered the king's officers and said to Matthias, on the wise, on this wise, thou art a ruler.
So you know what I'm saying, this is a oppressor. This is the goddamn Edomite. You know, the devil the Bible speaks of coming with peaceable words, man. Right? You got to understand, when they say peace, just know swift death and destruction is coming. They know that, you know what I'm saying, Matthias is a warrior of the Lord, man. Right? His strength is built up and he's strong. And he's raising up warriors. You know what I'm saying? He got men up under him. His sons, you know, they are some solid brothers, man. And this oppressor seeing the spirit that's coming out of Matthias and his sons, man. So now he's trying to come up with some small talk, right? Some peaceable words to butter him up, you know, to get ready to hit him with the whammy, hoping that he drop his guard, man. Right? Go ahead.
Thou art a ruler and honorable and great man in this city, and strengthen the sons and brethren.
Say, man, you are an honorable man in this city. I see how men and your sons look up to you. Your brethren, your people, they all look up to you. So, you know what I'm saying? Look, how about I, you know, give you this $2 million right here, you know what I'm saying? And you quieten them and follow and do after the manner of the heathen. I'm saying, go ahead and slide them a little pork, man. Right? That's how they trying to come at them, man. Right? Let's get 18.
The book of First Maccabees chapter 2, verse 18. Now therefore come thou first, fulfill the king's commandment, like as all the heathen have done.
Say, now look, come here, man. I see you got some solid brothers up under your sons. They follow you. You know, you got a lot of influence out here, you know what I'm saying, in this city. Well, I need you to move, work your influences to do the biddings of our king. I need you to spread forth the decree of the heathens amongst your sons and your brethren. I see y'all growing strong out here, man. Right? We got to do something about that. Right? Continue on.
And the men of Judah also, and such as remain at Jerusalem, such that thou house be in the number of the king's frames, and thou children, and thou both,
and thou and thy children.
thou and thy children shall be honored with silver and gold and many rewards.
It's like, look out, you do all of this that we telling you do, right? You go and bring forth the decree of the king and teach your sons and your people to do after the manner of the heathen. You know what I'm saying? You have all the silver and gold you want, man. Y'all will be rewarded, man. But you got to go and do the bidding of the heathen. You got to bring forth the decree of our king down unto the people, because they respect you, right? They listen to you. You are a great man in this city, man. We need you to come and do our biddings, right? Verse 19.
First Maccabees chapter 2, verse 19. Then Mattathias answered and spake with a loud voice.
You know what I'm saying? He got fired up on. You know what I'm saying? He got the spirit of the Lord on him, man. Right? The Lord said, I am a man of war. Right? The Lord is my name, man. And guess what? Mattathias, you know what I'm saying? He wasn't no punk, man. He was a man of war, man. Right? And he was raising up warriors. Right? That took on the spirit of the Lord, man. Say, Mattathias answered and spake with a loud voice. What'd he say?
All the nations that are under the king's dominion obey him.
He say they got a lot of sellouts out here. You know what I'm saying? That follow the decree of your king. That's willing to do after the manner of the heathens. Right? They are all sellouts. They are all coons. Right? Go ahead.
Fall away everyone from the religion of their fathers.
I mean, they all fell away from the ways of their forefathers to go and do after the manner of the heathen. They were weak. Right? Continue on.
And give consent to his commandment.
They give consent unto the commandment of the heathen. And they do what thus said the oppressor. Just like all these goddamn religious leaders today. Just like your politicians today. Just like all your magna cum laudes out here in the earth today. Right? But Mattathias, you know, he had the spirit of the Lord on him, man. Right? Let's get verse 20.
First Maccabees chapter 2, verse 20. Yet will I and my sons and my brethren walk in the covenant of our father.
You hear that? It say, yet will my sons and my brethren, my people, walk in the covenant of our father. You know what that covenant is? The covenant that the Lord made with blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians. The covenant that the Lord made with the Israelites, man. Right? And that's the covenant that Mattathias chose to walk in, man. To be one with the Most High God of Israel. Right? To bring forth the spirit of the Lord throughout the earth, man. Let's get verse 21.
The book of First Maccabees chapter 2, verse 21. God forbid that we should forsake the law and ordinance.
He say, hell la. That's what God forbid that we should forsake the law and the ordinance. Meaning, hell no, we won't. Hell no, we are not going to forsake our law, statutes, and commandments, our ways of life, our customs, right? To do after the manner of the goddamn heathen, man. To do after the manner of the oppressor, who is the goddamn devil the Bible speaks of, man. Now, we ain't doing that. You know, you ran that game, you know, on the Akim, right? But it ain't working right here, man. Me and my house, we're going to serve the Lord, man. That's the spirit that we are pushing in the Israelite School of Universal Practical Knowledge, man. Under command in General Yohana, man. Right? Let's get verse 22. I know.
All right, this is the book of First Maccabees, chapter 2, verse 22. We will not hearken to the king's word to go from our religion, either on the right hand or the left hand.
We ain't gonna hearken until the voice of the goddamn oppressor, who is the goddamn devil the Bible speaks of, man. Right? To go from the ways of our forefathers, right? We ain't going to the right or to the left. We understand that straight and narrow is the way. That is the path, man. There's no need to turn to the left or turn to the right, man. But this oppressor would have you go, you know what I'm saying, left, right, zigzag, back and forward, man. Right? Anyway, but going straight and narrow, man. Let's get verse 23.
Book of First Maccabees, chapter 2, verse 23. And when he had left speaking these words, there came one of the Jews in the sight of all to sacrifice on the altar which had molded according to the king's command.
Right? So he had one, right? Right? One of the Jews in the sight of all to sacrifice on the altar, which was at Modin, right? Let's get verse 24. Go ahead.
Book of First Maccabees, chapter 2, verse 24. Which thing when Mattathias saw, he was inflamed with zeal.
And he was inflamed. He had the zeal of the Lord on him, man. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? It raised up a fire within him, man. To see, you know, our people going and disrespect the Lord, to go and sit at the table with these goddamn oppressors, man. Go ahead.
And his reins trembled, neither could he forbear to shoot his anger according to the judgment, wherefore he ran and slew him upon the altar.
He went up there, Mattathias went up there and slew him upon the altar. Because this coon chose to go before the goddamn heathen, the goddamn oppressor, who is the goddamn devil the Bible speaks of, to bring pork upon the goddamn altar, man. Right? Because in his mind, he like, it's just a little bit of pork. You know, it ain't gonna hurt nobody. But guess what? It's destroying us today, man. Right? Because we think that it's just a little bit of pork, man. But Mattathias was so much of a hardcore brother and a servant of the Lord, he went and fell on that brother, man, and slew him, man, for disrespecting the Lord in our temple, man. Right? You know what I'm saying? This is a man that had it on his spirit to rebuild the temple of the Lord, man, to bring our people back to the Lord, man, our rightful state, and come and bring our people from up under the hand of our oppressor, up under the hand of our enemies, and those that hate us with a perpetual hatred, man. Right? This is the last of a dying breed right here, man. Right? Let's get verse 25.
The book of First Maccabees, chapter 2, verse 25. Also the king's commissioner, who compelled men to sacrifice, he killed at the time, and the altar he pulled down.
You know what I'm saying? Of men, it's also the king's commissioner, who compelled men to sacrifice. You know, he fell on him too. Right? He fell on him and pulled down the altar that they had disrespected, man. Right? Let's get verse 26.
It's the book of First Maccabees, chapter 2, verse 26. Thus there he zealously for the law of God, like as the.
So, you know what I'm saying? Thus he did zealously, man, for the law of God, man. Like Phoenix did unto Zambri, the son of Salem, man, right? And he dealt zealously for the law of God, man, when he went and slew them on the altar for disrespecting the Lord, man, for disrespecting our sanctuary, our temple, man, right? Let's get verse 27.
Book of First Maccabees, chapter 2, verse 27. Matthias cried throughout the city with a loud voice, saying, whosoever zealous of the law and maintaining the covenant, let him follow me.
Say, if you are zealous to serve the Lord, you are zealous about keeping our laws, statutes, and commandments, and maintaining the covenant, the oath that the Lord made unto us as a nation of people, as blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians. And guess what? Let him follow me, man. You come and follow me. Stop following these politicians. Stop following these religious leaders. And you come and follow me, man. And that's the spirit that's happening right here under Commanding General Yohana, man, in the Israelite School of Universal Practical Knowledge, man. Right? We are bringing forth the spirit of Matthias in the Maccabees, man. Right? Men that chose death. They chose an honorable death than to sacrifice unto the heathen and do the things that the heathen do, man. They chose death, man. That's the last of a dying breed, man. But we are raising up those brothers back in the earth today, man. Those people, those men, women, and children, they are being raised up today in the Israelite School of Universal Practical Knowledge, man, under the Commanding General Yohana, man. Let's get verse 28.
It's the book of First Maccabees, chapter 2, verse 28. So he and his sons fled into the mountains and left all that every they had in the city.
Go ahead.
It's the book of First Maccabees, chapter 2, verse 29. When many that sought after justice and judgment went down into the wilderness to dwell there.
Go ahead.
It's the book of First Maccabees, chapter 2.
Let's drop down to verse 32, right? Go ahead.
The book of First Maccabees, chapter 2, verse 32. They pursued after them a great number, and having overtaken them, they camped against them and made war against them on the Sabbath day.
They was like, they looked at them. They had brothers just like today. People, want to be your Shiva, your Shuas, and they don't want to do nothing on the Sabbath, right? They don't want to turn on the light. They don't want to start a stove. They don't want to do nothing on the Sabbath day, man. But this oppressor knew, when to come and strike them, because certain brothers didn't want to fight on the Sabbath, man. Right? This devil knew that on the Sabbath they ain't gonna try to fight, so we're gonna go and overtake them and unalive them on the Sabbath day, man. Right? That's the time where they sought to pursue the nation of Israel, man. They looked to camp against us, man, as a nation of people. And they made war against them on the Sabbath day, man. Let's get verse 32. 33.
The book of First Maccabees, chapter 2, verse 33. They said unto them, let that which ye have done, give no suffice. come forth and do according to the commandment of the king, and ye shall live.
Say, look, man, if y'all come and do what the commandment of the king said, we'll let y'all live. You know, y'all ain't trying to fight. You want to live, just come and do what the king say. You know, either that or you know, we're gonna unalive you. Since y'all don't fight on the Sabbath, it's y'all rest day, right? Let's get verse 34.
This is the book of First Maccabees, chapter 2, verse 34. But they said, we will not come forth, neither will we do the king's commandment to profane the Sabbath.
Like, you know what I'm saying? We ain't gonna fight on the Sabbath. We ain't gonna follow the commandments of your king either, to go against the Sabbath day. Right? Let's get verse 35.
The book of First Maccabees, chapter 2, verse 35. So they gave them a battle with all speed.
You know, they fell on them with all speed, man. Right? Say, oh, well, y'all ain't gonna fight. Y'all ain't gonna fight, and y'all not gonna do what we say. They fell on them quickly. You know what I'm saying? With all speed, man. Right? Verse 36.
Book of First Maccabees, chapter 2, verse 36. Howbeit they answered them. Howbeit they answered them not, neither cast they a stone at them, nor stop the places where they lay hid.
You know what I'm saying? They didn't even try to stop them, man. Right? They didn't cast a stone, stop them in their place. You know, they just tucked their tail and laid down, man, because they didn't understand the spirit behind keeping the law, man. Right? They only knew the letter of the law. They knew what the letter said. They didn't know the spirit behind keeping the law. And that's what these fake Israelite groups don't understand, man. That's what these religions don't understand, man. Right? They don't know the spirit behind keeping the law, man. But Mattathias and his sons and his brethren, they knew the spirit behind the law. Right? Let's get verse 37, man. Right? It's the book of Matthew, First Maccabees, chapter 2, verse 37, and it reads, but said, let us die, all in our innocence. Heaven and earth will testify for us that ye put us to death wrongfully, man. Meaning we are going to choose death. We're going to choose to be unalive and die honorably, innocently. And heaven and earth will testify for us, man, that we have died wrongfully, man. We're going to choose to do what thus said the Lord and not what thus said the oppressor, man. They was in the spirit of the Lord, man. All right, let's get verse 38. All right, this is the book of 2 Maccabees, chapter 2, verse 38, and it reads, so they rose up against them in battle on the Sabbath, and they slew them and their wives and their children and their cattle to the number of 1,000 people, man. Right? Let's get verse 39. Now, when Mattathias and his friends understood hereof, mourned for them right sore, right? When they heard what had happened to their brethren, because they were lost, because they chose not to take on the spirit of the Lord, right? They thought they knew the truth. They thought that the Lord was with them, man, right? You know, they felt sorry for their brothers. They mourned, you know, the unaliving of their people, man. You know, it made them feel sore, man, to see their brothers be destroyed, man, because they chose not to fight, you know, on the Sabbath, man. But guess what? Here in the Israelite School of Universal Practical Knowledge, we are going to go to war on the Sabbath, man. Right? I'm saying you come run up in here on the Sabbath, you know, you're going to get that work, man. You know what I'm saying? We will fall on you on the Sabbath, man. Right? Don't the scripture say, isn't it good to do good on the Sabbath? You mean to tell me you can't protect yourself on the Sabbath? I'm saying me and my brethren, you know what I'm saying? Me and my house, we are going to serve the Lord, man. All right? And we will fight on the Sabbath, man. Let's get verse 40. Right? So and it reads, and one of them said to another, if we all do as our brethren have done and fight not for our lives and laws against the slacking, and fight not for our lives and law against the heathen, then slacking against the heathen, they will now quickly root us out of the earth, man. I mean, if we don't stand up and fight for our lives, for the lives of our brethren, for our laws, statutes, and commandments to serve our power, then they are going to quickly root us up out of the earth. They're gonna to wipe us out of here, man. If we don't stand up and fight, if we do like they did, we're gonna be wiped out of the earth, man. We're not gonna be like them, right? That's what they're saying. Let's get 41. Right, and it says, at that time, therefore, the decree saying, whosoever shall come to make battle with us on the Sabbath day, we will fight against them. Neither will we die all as our brethren that were murdered in the secret places, man. We're not going out like them. So they come and fall upon us, you know what I'm saying, with the quickness. They gonna fall within the quickness. So we're gonna lay them down. All right, we will go to war in the name of our God, for our brethren, for our laws, statutes, and commandments that serve our power, man. You know, we will go to war and die for that, man. And we would die a honorable death, man. All right, let's get verse 42. Right? So it reads, then came there unto him a company of Assyrians, who were mighty men of Israel, even all such as were voluntarily devoted unto the law, man. Meaning a men of war, man, that was devoted to keeping the law, statutes, and commandments and bringing forth the spirit of the Lord into the earth, man. Men of Israel, blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians, man. Right? Brethren, man. Right? Let's get 43. Right? Also, right? It's like it. Also, all that fled for persecution joined themselves unto them, and were at stay unto them. Verse 44. So they joined their forces and smote the sinful men in their anger, and the wicked men in their wrath. But the rest fled to the heathen for succor, right? And they fled to the heathen for protection, right? For assistance. You know what I'm saying? Because guess what? Those few men that stood stiffly with the Lord, man, they had the strength of the Lord with them, man. Right? You know what I'm saying? They was wiping these devils out, man. Taking back the kingdom. Restoring the kingdom, the temple of the Lord, man. Our sanctuary, man. Bringing back the spirit of the Lord amongst our people, man. Right? Let's get verse all All right, let's drop that. Let's get First Maccabees chapter 3, verse 18, right? Right. First Maccabees chapter 3, verse 18, right? And it reads, to whom Judas answered, it is no hard matter for many to be shut up in the hand of a few. And with the God of heaven, it is only one to deliver with great multitude or a small company, man. I mean, it's nothing but the Spirit of the Lord that could have been upon them, man. They can have them, like I said, the God of heaven is all in one to deliver with great multitude, man. Right? So be able to fall upon them on a great multitude with a small company of men, man. Right? It's nothing but the Spirit of the Lord that was on these brothers, man. That was with these brothers because of their honor, because of their obedience, because they choose to do what thus said the Lord and not what thus said the oppressor, man. Therefore, you know, they was able to fall on them with a small number of men, right? And the Lord don't look at numbers, man. The Lord will take a few men and slaughter many, man. Right? Just as he did, man. All right, let's get verse 19. Right, so it reads, for the victory of the battle stand not in the multitude of an host, but strength cometh from heaven, man. I mean, strength coming from the Lord, man. And because these brothers took on the Spirit of the Lord and brought forth that Spirit in the earth, the Lord was with these brothers, man. Right, the Lord was with Mattathias and the Maccabees, man. Right, let's get verse 20. Right. They come up against us in much pride and iniquity to destroy us. Right? They come up against us with much pride and sin in transgression of the law by telling us that the laws of God is done away with, man. Right? That you are to lay down your law and do what thus said the oppressor, man. Right? They bring that upon us to destroy us for a lack of knowledge, man. And they have done it, man. They have succeeded, man. Right? And our wives and children, and to spoil us, man. Right? They have destroyed the minds of our people. Right? Our men, our women, man, our children. Right? Let's get verse 21. Right? But it says, but we fight for our lives and our law, man. Right? This is the last of a dying breed in the earth, man. And they've been raised up again, like I said, right here in the Israelite School of Universal Practical Knowledge, man. You have men that are being raised up to fight for our lives and for our laws. And we're going to keep them. We're going to celebrate the things that the Lord said for us to celebrate. We're going to do what thus said the Lord and be obedient as a nation of people, man. And we'll raise up men, women, and children to do the same, man. Right? And we'll do that all the way up into our death, man. If need be, right? Let's get verse 22, right? So, and it reads, but we fight, slacking. Wherefore the Lord himself will overthrow them before our face. And as for you, be ye not afraid of them, man. Right? You know what I'm saying? You should not be afraid of this goddamn oppressor, man. You should not be afraid of these heathen nations, man. Because when you bring forth the Spirit of the Lord, you put that Spirit inside of you and you bring forth that Spirit throughout the earth, then the Lord is fighting with you. The Lord will overthrow them, man, before your face, man. Right? You have no need to be afraid of them, man. You ought to fear the Lord, man. You ought to have respect unto the Lord, man. And the Lord will fight for you, man. Let's get verse 24, right? Right? Slacky, where we at? Let's drop that. Let's get First Maccabees chapter 4, verse 35, man. Right? We almost to the end, man. Right? First Maccabees chapter 4, verse 35, man. Go ahead and bring it, read it.
It's the book of First Maccabees, chapter 4, verse 35. Now, when Messiah saw his army put to flight, and then the manliness of Judas soldiers, and how they were ready either to live or die that.
I'm saying this the men that's following up under Judas Maccabees, man. You know what I'm saying? The last of a dying breed, man, a soldier. You know what I'm saying? A warlord, man, a warrior for the Lord, man. Right. You know what I'm saying? This is men that fell up under that brother, man, a solid brother, man. Go ahead. How they were ready, man. They were ready to live or die. Right? Go ahead.
He went into Antiochus. Yeah, Antiochus. Together a company of strangers. And having made his army greater than it was, he purposed to come again to Judea.
And he went and gathered up a company of strangers, man. Right? And made him a great army, man. Right? Go ahead, verse 36.
Book of First Maccabees, chapter 4, verse 36. Ben said, Judas and his brethren, behold, our enemies are discomfited.
Yeah, that says our enemies, man. He called this oppressor, this Edomite, his enemy. He didn't call him a brother. He didn't call him a friend. He didn't say we're all one nation. We're all one, and we all need to come together and hold hands in hand and have brotherly love to all people. Right? He said, behold, our enemies are discomfited. He said, what? Let us what?
Let us go up to cleanse and
let us go up and cleanse and dedicate the sanctuary, man. That's where we get the feast of dedication from, man. You know, for the space of 8 days, we celebrate and feast, right? And we renew our sanctuary, man. The temple of the Lord, man. Bring something new to it, man. Clean it up, man. Right? Well, these brothers here, they went and cleaned house, man. You know what I'm saying? By wiping out our goddamn enemies and throwing them out of the temple, taking their spirit out of the temple, right? Taking their spirit from amongst us as a nation of people, man, and restoring the spirit of the Lord, man, right? Restoring the temple of the Lord, man, right? Continue on.
The book of First Maccabees, chapter 4, verse 37. Upon this, all the hosts assembled themselves together and went up into the mount of Zion.
I mean, all the army assembled themselves together and went up into Mount Sinai, man. Right? Zion, right? Sinai. Mount Zion. Mountain Zion. Right? All right. Let's get verse 37. 38. Right?
The book of First Maccabees, chapter 4, verse 38. And when they saw the sanctuary desolate, and the altar profaned, and the gates burned up, and the shrubs growing in the courts, as in a forest, or in one of the mountains, ye the priest's chambers pulled down.
I'm saying they started to pull all that down, man. Right? They started to, know what I'm saying, get rid of all the stubble, right? All the shrubble, all the things that made the sanctuary a desolate place, right? The things that profaned our altar, man. They started to get rid of that out of the temple, right? They started to overthrow our enemies who were oppressing us and destroying us and getting them out of our temple, out of our sanctuary. You know what I'm saying? Cleaning up the body of the Lord, man. Right? And bringing forth that spirit back amongst us in the earth, man. 49. 39.
It's the book of First Maccabees, chapter 4, verse 39. They rent their clothes and made great lamentations and cast ashes upon their heads.
Right? Meaning they were in great sadness, man. They rent their clothes, man, and made great sadness and cast ashes upon their heads, man. Right? Let's continue on. Just say 40 and read so we can run through these last ones.
It's the book of Maccabees.
Just say 40, verse 40, and read. And they fell down.
They fell down flat to the ground upon their faces and blew an alarm with the trumpets and cried toward heaven.
Verse 41, go ahead.
Verse 41. Then Judas appointed certain men to fight against those that were in the fortress until he had cleansed the sanctuary.
And you know what I'm saying? They are cleansing the sanctuary, right? Which is what the Feast of Dedication is about every year. It's about cleansing the sanctuary, cleansing the temple, man, bringing something new, you know, to bring forth the Spirit of the Lord into the temple, man, right? Cleansing us as a nation of people, making sure that we are willing to give our life for the Lord, man, right? So with that, you know what I'm saying, I'm going to pass the class over. Let's see, Slacky. Right, I'm going to read 42 and 43, right? So it says, go ahead.
It's the book of First Maccabees, chapter 4, verse 42. So he chose priests of blameless conversation such as had pleasure in the law.
Go ahead.
Verse 43. Who cleansed the sanctuary and bare out the defiled stones into an unclean place.
You know what I'm saying? They rededicated the temple to the Lord, man. Right? Brought our people back into the spirit of the Lord in a state that we ought to be as a nation of people, man. Right? They were willing to give their life to raise up against their oppressor, to bring forth the spirit of the Lord, and they chose death. They chose to either live or die to serve the Most High God of Israel. And that's what you ought to do today as a Black, Hispanic, and Native Indian, man. Right? You ought to be getting into the Israelite School of Universal Practical Knowledge under the commanding General Yohana, man. You're not going to learn this spirit nowhere else in the earth, man. Right? And with that, we're going to pass the class over to priest and the officer of 50 Lama Yah for the security announcements.
This is the Israelite School of Universal Practical Knowledge, starting out of 1 West 125th Street, Harlem, New York. Room for new brother and sister. When the new brother and sister comes into the school, they are off limits for 6 months. They'll be saluted only. They're here to share themselves with the world. They need transportation. The teacher will arrange it. After 6 months, if the brother and sister has an interest in a particular person, he or she must get permission from the head to speak to a brother and sister. There's another 6 months in which the brother and sister will court each other. After the 6 month period, the brother and sister will get permission from the head to marry, ties, which is a commandment. We'll find it in the book of Numbers, chapter 18, verse 21, and the book of Malachi, chapter 3, verse 8 through 10. Being sent in Hebrew, Ma'asharah. 10% of every peanut being increase the Lord gives you, give to the treasury department or teacher. Priest fund, will we offering for priests? Not mandatory. Whatsoever amount you would like. Up and holy convocations. It's the feast of dedication that we are still in.
All right, the feast of dedication, right? Feast of Hanukkah.
25th day of the 9th month by the space of 8 days. Sunday, the 14th, December 2025, for the space of 8 days. If I read about this in the book of First Maccabees, chapter 4, verse 52 through 61. If anyone would like to become a trooper in the school, start wearing all black, boots, shirt, pants, headband, and scarf. This concludes the Isupk security announcement.
With that, we're going to stand. We're going to turn, face the east. We're going to say the Lord's Prayer in the Hebrew. Abanaw, Bashamayim, Kodash, Hayah, Shemka, Yahweh, Malakukah, Aba'a, Ratazaka, Haya, Aisha, Baratiza, Kawa, Haya, Bashamaya, Kalanao, the Come, Call, the Wum, Wasaluk, Kabawatna, Kasaluk, Kabawagna, Wala, the Yainawa, on the side ones, oh, our side now, my young, Ra, Kaya, the Cup, Hamalawa, Wala, Rata Para, La Awalamian, Man. In English, our Father, so in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Yahweh, thy kingdom come, thy will be done in earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our debts. We forgive our debtors. Lead us not to temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom, and the power, and the glory, forever. So be it. Men of Israel, give one courteous salute to the teacher. Men of Israel, Mad Shabbat, Mad Barak, Yabashana Shabakatham, Yadamatai, Saul, Men of Israel, give one courteous salute to the sisters. Men of Israel, Mad Shabbat, Mad Barak, Yahashmatham, Bashim outside, Yadamatai, dismiss.
Shalom, Israel. It's that time again. The ISUPK, under Commanding General Yahana, presents the Lord's 57th Annual Passover. That's right, the Lord's 57th Annual Passover, April 4th, 2026, in Houston, Texas. All Black, Hispanics, and Native Americans are commanded to observe the Lord's Passover. This will be the biggest Passover to date. You do not want to miss this. Fresh lamb, fresh wine, and bitter herbs as commanded by the Most High. Only $200 per person ages 17 and up. The biggest event of the year. There is only one Passover, and it's under Commanding General Yahana. See you there, Israel. Shalom.
Nobody else there to compare to. Train for war, men of war, and war like apparel. Prefer our leaders, can't get between us. Watch where you stepping.